On May 19, 2024, the world was shocked by the news that the Iranian president's plane had disappeared and there had been no contact with it. Iran then announced that the plane had been found crashed and that Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi and his foreign minister had died in the accident. The first thing on everyone's mind was what happened to the president's plane. This will be answered by the Iranian authorities' investigations. Former Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif said that the United States is responsible for the recent accident that led to the president's death. He said that this crime will be added to the list of America's crimes against the Iranian people. So, what's the connection between the United States and the Iranian president's death? Is it really the cause, or are these just unfounded accusations? We'll find out in this video. During the Cold War between the Americans and the Soviets in April 1972, the Iraqi president met with the Prime Minister of the Soviet Union and they signed a 15-year cooperation treaty that included Soviet assistance to the Iraqis in strengthening their military defenses. The United States felt that Baghdad's cooperation with the Soviets was a threat to its interests. The following month, May 1972, US President Richard Nixon visited the Iranians, the Iraqis' neighbors, and Nixon told the Shah of Iran that America was ready to sell Iran any weapon except nuclear weapons. Of course, Iran bought a lot of weapons and aircraft, including a deal to buy 489 aircraft from the American Bell Helicopter Company. Iran also contracted with the same company to train Iranian pilots and technicians and set up a maintenance and supply system for the helicopters. The two sides also agreed to set up factories in Isfahan for the Iranians to start assembling and manufacturing helicopters in Iran. At the same time, Iran was really keen to develop the civil aviation sector and bought a lot of American Boeing airplanes, which helped Iranian airlines to grow so fast that it became one of the best airlines in the world. Then, the Iranian Revolution happened and the Shah was overthrown. A few months later, a group of Iranian students took a number of Americans hostage inside the US Embassy in Tehran. In response, the United States imposed economic sanctions on Iran, which deprived it of many American goods and services, including maintenance and spare parts for civilian and military aircraft. As the planes got older and needed maintenance and spare parts, the Iranians tried to meet their needs in different ways, like reverse engineering and smuggling spare parts. The problem for the Iranians was that the parts of the plane that are most sensitive, like the engine, are very difficult to manufacture because it is a very complex technology. But after the end of the US hostage crisis in the US Embassy in Tehran, US President Jimmy Carter lifted the sanctions on Iran, including the ban on spare parts for civilian passenger aircraft. Then about 14 years later, US President Bill Clinton imposed sanctions on Iran because of its nuclear program, including depriving Iran of airplane parts and maintenance. Then, in 2015, Iran signed a cooperation agreement with the United States, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. As soon as the agreement was signed, the Iranians contracted with Western aircraft manufacturers to modernize the fleet of civil aircraft and helicopters, which is considered one of the oldest in the world. But US President Donald Trump canceled the agreement with Iran in 2018, and Iran only received 3 planes from Airbus. Iranian airplanes are on average more than 28 years old, which is more than double the global average. In fact, more than 75% of Iranian passenger planes are 25 years old. For example, in 2016, a Boeing 747 SP belonging to Iran Air finally retired after 40 years of service. The plane was the only one of its generation still flying at the time. Iran Air currently operates an Airbus A300 that's 40 years old, which makes Iranian airplanes more accident-prone than others. According to the B3A Bureau of Aircraft Accidents Archives, Iran had 253 airplane crashes between 1979 and 2023, causing 3,335 fatalities. The situation is no less dire for Iran's helicopter fleet. About 60% of Iran's helicopters are over 40 years old. Iran currently has 62 Bell helicopters in service, including 13 Bell 212, including the one that crashed into the Iranian president and his foreign minister on May 19th, which entered service with the Iranian Air Force in 1994, meaning it is almost 30 years old. If President Donald Trump had not cancelled the agreement with Iran, the Iranian president could have been on his last flight in a much newer helicopter than his own, which was speculated to have crashed due to a technical failure. That's why former Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif cited US sanctions as the cause of the recent accident that led to the Iranian president's death. But is this accusation true? The truth is that it is completely untrue. If the former Iranian minister wants to accuse anyone, he should accuse Iranian policy and Iran's nuclear program instead of accusing the US sanctions. After all, the US sanctions were only a reaction to Iranian policy. The question is whether Iran's nuclear program is worth the economic sanctions it has been subjected to for decades. Finally, if you liked the video and want more videos, subscribe to the channel.